makes up the world that you experience. How you see the world is exactly what you believe. Now you might say, is belief wrong? There's no wrong or right. But the point is to know. And knowing is far superior to belief. In fact, they're not even in working relationship. You see? A belief is the very nature of the human being. It happens naturally. We believe everything. But what is important is knowing in the heart beyond the shadow of a doubt. Most of the time, people who read spiritual literature, they say, oh, I know who I am spirit. I am divine, I am this. And then they wonder why they're living life and missing something. Okay? Because they believe in it. But they don't know it to be so. They don't know it, that this is real. This is all that matters. This is what life is really about. It's about this, that you are this I am. You see? And so the difference between belief and knowing is vast, in the same way that thought and awareness is vast. Because awareness is also knowing. You see? And thought becomes a belief. So it is the same difference. But we join them together. You see? We put them together. And that's what's create that feeling as if something is missing. Because as long as you are working from the belief point of view or from the thought point of view, thinking about it, you see, you begin to think you know. And when you know something, there is no doubt. There is absolutely no doubt. You won't even ask a question about it when you know. For example, you know you're a woman. Do you have a doubt about that? No, of course not. You see, that's called knowing. You know you exist. You see? That's knowing. It is consciousness recognizing itself. But belief can be shaken. Belief can be wavered. You see? Okay. So that was good. So therefore, it is through awareness that we can have thought. Is thought possible without awareness? No. Okay. Does awareness complement thought and thought complements awareness? In other words, they need each other. Right? Yeah, absolutely. They cannot do without each other.
Why does awareness need thought?
Because without thought you can never know that you're aware. Because there'll be nothing, no function, no cosmic soup in which it can recognize itself. You see? Yeah. So awareness embodies itself and becomes Mike. And then Mike is able to say, oh, who am I? Okay? And in time is able to be aware that he's more than just a thought. I am aware of the thought, therefore I am greater than the thought. You see? But it was the thought that made it possible for you to engage that awareness. You see? So the two are complementary. The two need each other in order to function. And this is the reason why we are embodied. We are embodied spirits. And this is the grace and the love, you know, that we have been bestowed with. You know, to be a human being is one of the greatest blessings and gifts we've been given. There's no greater gift than to know I am. You see? But the reason you know I am is because you have become a unique expression of that I am and able to look at that. You see? And because consciousness can recognize itself, consciousness is able to have that capacity, each unique expression of itself is able to have that looking. It's vast, isn't it, when you go into it? Each one of us is totally unique. And yet we're all one in spirit. We're all one I am. And if you get confused, then think of it as radios. You see? All the radios can tune in to the same station. And they're all coming from one wavelength. And the radio expresses it as if it's inside the radio. but it's not inside the radio. It is a receiver, you see, of those waves.
Burt?
Yeah.
I'm seeing two here, so just one is to not identify with thought, and then who cares, because you're after source. So then you don't. You say, this is not my thought. This is just thought itself, and you can trace it back to try to find its origin, which will be I am.
Right.
The other one is to say, I'm a pretty pink radio with 3 aerials and 4 dials. And then I say, this, how did this come to being? And again trace back. So one seems to be identifying with thought and then going, and the other one seems to be no identification.
That's right. In the knowing, there's no identification. Yeah. But it has. But the thing is,
you have to go through the pink radio to get to
that's right. That is correct. Yeah. The moment thought comes into being, thought itself creates. You see. And when it creates, what we have now is a manifestation of millions of years of evolution, that we are the way we are. But it's still thought. It's a DNA, it's a memory that created your body. That everything is, as it appears, has come from that. Right. And it's at this point of evolution, we can really have enough intelligence to begin to look at who we are. We're no longer walking around like maybe just primitive man and totally unconscious. Then we went to a stage of self-consciousness, which brought the ego into being. You see? And then from the ego we suffered. From suffering we wanted a better life, which we never got. You see? But we're always wanting a better life, a better life. From the moment we are born. I want to be better than John. I want to get A's at school. I want to be better at track and field. I want to be better, better, better. But it never gets better. Because better from what? Right. But that drive is source itself pulling you back to itself. Until we say, why do I want to be better? What is it all about? Where am I going? You see? And the moment we start looking, we start actually looking at ourselves, examining, looking. That brings us back to source. See? It's a return. Right? Just like T.S. Eliot wrote, and this is one of my favorites, he said, we shall never cease from exploration. And at the end of all our exploring, we shall arrive at where we started. But know that place for the first time. You see, and that's called awakening. And the awakening is what brings everything that we've ever wanted: inner security, inner peace, understanding. That is the crucial point. And the crucial knowing, the crucial understanding is the difference between thought and awareness. But they're both important. The world that we experience, everything, our sensual, everything is thought. But it is there because of awareness, because of source. Source created it. It is from source. It's relative to the source. When I realize who I am, does my life change?
Not necessarily. Why? No, it doesn't need to. It can,
Yeah,
or it cannot.
that's right. Very good.
It's a trick question.
It's a trick question. Yeah. Nothing changes, and yet everything changes. It's just there's a different viewpoint. You see things differently, but you're the same. Personality does not necessarily change, except you're more at peace and you're happier. You have more joy in your life, but you're still the same. Still the same. Same Enneagram, same zodiac sign, same male and female. Same everything. But you change in the way you look at people. You see? They're part of you now.